In this video, I'm going to go over how to create an initial work plan within your D2L course. To create a work plan, we first need to look at the content page. To do that, we're going to click on Content in the D2L navigation bar and find the work plan content page. In physics, it's under Initial Work Plan, but your course might be different. Clicking on Initial Work Plan will bring us to that content page. What we'll then need to do is read through the material in this page, and eventually you'll see a link for a work plan template. Clicking on that link will download a copy of the template, which you can open up in Microsoft Office or OpenOffice. So here's our physics work plan. Remember, this might look different for other courses. There's two parts to the work plan within the physics and science courses: an initial work plan and a final work plan review. Let's first go over the initial work plan. Once we've read this document, you'll eventually see a table that needs to be completed. For the initial work plan, which is worth 1% of your final mark, you're going to need to fill out these two columns. Let's go over how you would do that. You're going to put your name and the name of the course, and in this first column, you're going to put the module deadline that's listed in the checklist. Therefore, we need to take a look at the checklist in the D2L site. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to go back to the page. I'm going to go under Student Tools and under Checklist. So what we're going to need to get from this is the dates that are in this checklist. So we see for Module 1, Unit A, Deadline 1 is October 16th for this course. It might be different for your course. This October 16th deadline is the last possible date to submit assessments in this course for Module 1. This date, remember, is based on that last group of students that are entering the course. So we're going to get these dates and we're going to place them in that initial column. So for Module 1, it's October 16th, and we're going to use that as an example. So I'm going to say I'm a hypothetical student, John Doe, and Module 1, I saw that deadline was October 16th. So you're going to do that and fill out this entire column. The next thing you're going to need to do is complete the second column, which is the date you plan to have the module completed by. Now, if you start the course in September, you're going to have a lot more time to complete the course than someone that joins the course later. Therefore, your deadlines and the dates that you plan to have the modules completed by should be earlier. For example, if you enter the course, say something like September 4th, in physics, each module should take you 1 to 2 weeks. For some of the science courses with bigger units, they might take 2 to 3 weeks. So if I entered the course, say September 4th, I might want to have Module 1 done by, let's say, September 18th. This is just an example. So I'm going to try to have all those Module 1 assessments that are listed in the checklist completed by September 18th. So that's what you need to do for the initial work plan. You're going to complete these columns, which are taken right off the checklist, and then you're going to have to set dates where you're going to have your dates completed by, or each module completed by. Remember that it should take 1 to 2 weeks for physics modules and maybe 2 to 3 weeks for major science units. So that's what you're going to need to do. Fill out those columns, and then we're going to have to place that in the initial work plan Dropbox. So if we go back to our browser, once that's all filled out and we save the file, we're going to go to our browser, we'll go to Student Tools, Dropbox, and for the physics course, you'll put it in the initial work plan Dropbox. That's what you need to do. Once you've done that, I'll review your initial work plan and give you some feedback within the feedback area of the Dropbox. The next thing that I'll do as an instructor is I'll fill out your initial work plan template within private discussions. Let's take a look at that. So once you've completed that initial work plan, we'll go to discussions and I'll update your work plan. So let's take a look at the initial work plan for our hypothetical student, John Doe. So we have that October 16th deadline, and once he submitted his assignments, I would be filling out all these little rows in this column with your deadlines. This is to keep you reminded of your upcoming deadlines. If you find for some reason that you can't make your deadline, please contact me within private discussions and we'll go over how you could adjust that deadline. It may require you resubmitting another initial work plan. you should contact me with an adjustment before your deadline actually passes. One thing that you want to be careful of is constantly pushing back deadlines. If you're finding that you're always having to adjust your deadlines, you need to change something with the way that you're approaching the course. And we can discuss that in private discussions. The final thing that you need to do once you've totally done the course is a final work plan review. Let's take a look at that. On the template, there's one final column, the actual completed date. This is when you actually completed the date. Remember, this is when you planned to have it done by, and this is when you actually complete it by. You'll have to keep track of this. So, for example, John, maybe he completed all of Module 1 by September 14th. He would write that date there. Every date that you complete, or actual completion date that's before your planned date, gets you a mark. So you want to try to complete these many assessments as you can before your planned date. Remember, you can change these, but that final deadline that's right here is the final date that you can possibly submit your assessments. So that's how the final work plan works, as well as the entire work plan.